I'm Ryan. I'm 32, a software engineer by trade, and for most of my adult life, the unofficial financial backbone of my family. Not that I signed up for that role. It sort of just happened. At first, I thought I was being generous, helping out here and there. A rent payment for mom and dad when dad's hours were cut. A used car for my younger brother Adam when he got his first job and couldn't survive on the bus. Then came the small things that added up over time, covering their phone bills, Netflix, groceries, vet appointments, and suddenly, I was less a son or brother and more of an invisible wallet with legs. I never really said anything. I kept my mouth shut because I thought, it's family. That's what you do. You give. You support. You show up. But over the years, that sentiment twisted. It stopped being thank you and turned into you owe us. Every kind gesture became expected, and anything less than complete compliance was treated like betrayal. I learned that the hard way last Christmas. It started like most of our family holidays. Fake cheer, chaotic gift wrap flying, a tree half lit because no one remembered to replace the dead bulbs. I arrived late, as usual, juggling bags of gifts I carefully selected, mostly practical, moderately priced things. I'd stopped the lavish spending a year ago after I caught Adam reselling the smartwatch I bought him for $500. No thank you. Just a Facebook Marketplace post the day after Christmas. That's when something in me started to shift. This year, I bought him a decent wristwatch. Nothing fancy. Mid-range, stylish, and durable. Something a 26-year-old should appreciate. I wrapped it neatly, added a little card, and placed it under the tree. When he opened it, the look on his face said it all. That's it. A watch, he said, snorting, holding it up like it was some dollar store knockoff. My mom didn't miss her cue. She rolled her eyes with dramatic flair and sighed. He used to give real gifts. Before he got cheap. I didn't react immediately. I just sat there, holding my coffee, letting the silence crawl over everyone for a moment. The laughter from the other room dulled as her words echoed inside me like a slow drip wearing down stone. I smiled tight, polite. You're right, I said quietly. I used to. Adam chuckled like he'd scored some unspoken point. My mom smirked and turned her attention back to her mimosa. My dad didn't say anything. He never did when stuff like this happened. The rest of the evening blurred together. Cheap wine. Reheated ham. My aunt complaining about someone parking in front of her mailbox. But beneath my skin, something was burning slowly, building. Every ignored message I'd ever sent in the family group chat. Every Ryan will cover it, they assumed without asking. Every moment I swallowed resentment because I thought speaking up made me a bad son. That night, when I got home, I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't even drink. I just opened my laptop. Over the years, I'd kept receipts. Literal ones. And digital paper trails. Direct debits, shared accounts, monthly transfers, auto payments I'd set up in their names. And more importantly, I documented the dozens of times I asked them to ease up, to show a little gratitude. All ignored. I typed up something that night. Not out of spite. Out of clarity. A realization that I'd been enabling their entitlement for far too long. I emailed my lawyer. Yeah, I had one. Mostly for boring contracts and tax things. But I'd mentioned my situation before, and he'd given me advice. Keep everything. You might need it one day. That day had come. I began freezing each auto-debit. The mortgage payment I'd been covering for my mom in secret since Dad's second heart attack? Canceled. The Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime tied to my card? Gone. My brother's lease, which I stupidly co-signed. I flagged it. Let them deal with the consequences. Then I set up something a little extra. A formal notification, something that wouldn't just sting, but shake them into understanding. A legal notice of financial disengagement. My lawyer helped draft it. Dry, factual, emotionless. It outlined every contribution, every account, every payment I had made on their behalf over the last 8 years. Then it stated, simply, that effective immediately, all financial support was terminated. I printed it, folded it, sealed it in an envelope. The next morning, I stopped by their house. No dramatic confrontation. No yelling in the driveway. I walked in like I always did. Mom forgot to reset the code on the garage keypad, as usual. They weren't home. The tree still blinked lazily, and the remnants of the holiday dinner were crusted onto paper plates stacked in the sink. I taped the envelope right on the fridge next to Mom's handwritten Christmas wish list, where she'd circled a new iPad and color-coded items with highlighters. I stared at it for a moment, that ridiculous list. She'd written need next to a pair of $300 headphones. Deserve and next to spa vouchers. And beside the iPad, Ryan will handle this. I left without saying a word. The fallout, though? That came fast. By noon, my phone was already buzzing. First, a text from my mom. MOM texted, "What is this letter on the fridge? Is this some kind of joke?" Then my brother. Adam texted, "Dude, are you having a breakdown or something?" "No, Merry Christmas." "No, thank you for the years of support." Just confusion and irritation, like I'd broken some silent contract none of us had ever signed, but all of them believed in. Then the call started. I didn't answer. Not because I was trying to be cruel, but because I knew exactly how it would go. There would be no sincere apology, no ownership. Just denial, gaslighting, maybe some crocodile tears if I let the call go on long enough. Instead, I made coffee, sat down at my desk, and started making lists of the recurring payments I'd canceled, the accounts I had closed, and the services I'd unsubscribed from. It was a weirdly peaceful kind of administration, like I was filing away years of neglect, one click at a time. That afternoon, I got a final group text from my mom. MOM texted, "We need to talk. This is beyond immature. You can't just abandon your family because of one comment. We've always counted on you. Don't be selfish." That was the first time she used the word selfish on me. I stared at it for a long while. Then I scrolled up, rereading old messages. The group chat was a graveyard of ignored questions and logistics. "Can anyone help me move this weekend? I'm covering groceries again this month. Any chance someone else can pitch in?" Silence every time. My aunt popped in next, clearly recruited. "Ryan, sweetheart, I know you're upset, but you know how your mom gets. Don't punish the whole family for her slip-up." That slip-up had been a constant echo my whole life. Slip-ups like laughing when Adam made jokes about me being the backup kid. Like forgetting my birthday dinner 2 years in a row, but throwing a party when my brother passed one online course. Like borrowing thousands just until payday that never returned. But they were right about one thing. This was different. I wasn't just going to withdraw quietly this time. I was finally choosing peace over obligation. And peace didn't mean burning bridges. It meant building a new home somewhere else, one they didn't have the keys to. That evening, Adam showed up at my apartment. He must have driven straight over after the text storm failed. I knew he was outside before he even knocked. His car was double parked like always, music thumping as if he was trying to shake the building loose. I didn't answer the door. Just watched from the peephole as he banged twice, then 3 times, muttering under his breath, "Come on, man. Don't be dramatic. Let's talk like adults." Talk like adults? From the same guy who once, jokingly, called me a cash machine at Thanksgiving and poured gravy on my shoes when I didn't laugh? I let him stew out there for about 10 minutes before he finally gave up. He muttered something about acting like a diva and stomped off, slamming his car door so hard my downstairs neighbor texted me a passive-aggressive, "Everything okay up there?" The next day, the real unraveling began. My mom's power got cut off, temporarily, at least. I'd been auto-paying the utility bills. Apparently, she never even saw them. When she called the company, they told her the card had been declined. No backup on file. Adam's lease company called him. Without me co-signing, he didn't meet the income requirements alone. The agent asked for a new guarantor or a buyout. Adam freaked out. Posted some vague nonsense on social media about people turning their backs on family. The comments started rolling in. "What happened, bro? Family is everything, man. Hope y'all figure it out." And my favorite, "Your brother was always too good to y'all." That one came from my cousin on my dad's side, who clearly saw more than she ever let on. By the end of the week, Mom called me at least 13 times. Then came the email. Formal, stiffly worded, and clearly typed by someone else. My guess? A friend from church or one of her book club ladies. It said something like, "Ryan, your actions have caused significant disruption in the family. While we understand you may be feeling underappreciated, this isn't the way to handle things. We are requesting a family meeting to resolve this amicably and restore unity." Restore unity. They had no idea what real unity even looked like. But I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded the email to my lawyer, just in case they tried anything dramatic. Not because I thought they'd sue me, but because I knew the kind of guilt bombs they were capable of. If they couldn't shame me with sentiment, they'd try legality next. Then, just when things started to go quiet, no texts, no voicemails, no knocks, my dad called. That's when everything shifted. It was late, almost midnight, when Dad called. I was surprised he even tried. He usually avoided conflict like it was toxic waste, and in our family, that meant staying silent while Mom spoke for both of them. But there he was, Dad, mobile, blinking on my screen, hesitating at the edge of going to voicemail. I didn't answer immediately. I watched the screen, waiting, listening to the soft hum of my fridge and the tick of my wall clock. 10 seconds passed. 15. Then I picked up. "Ryan," he said, voice low. "You home?" I leaned back in my chair, staring at the dark ceiling. "Yeah, good." He paused. I could hear a slight rattle in his breath. Maybe nerves. Maybe the cough he'd never had checked out. I didn't want to call. Your mom said not to. Said you needed space. But I just wanted to talk." There was a long silence. I didn't interrupt it. "I read the letter," he finally said. "The one you left on the fridge." My stomach tightened slightly. I didn't know if he'd seen it until now. He wasn't exactly the fridge-checking type. The man barely remembered where the coffee filters were. "Yeah," I said simply. "I didn't know," he murmured. "I mean, I guess I knew bits. That you were helping. But not like that. Not everything." I kept my voice even. "I emailed both of you about it. A few times." "I know," he admitted. "I should have paid attention. I just—" He let out a weak chuckle. "Your mom handles all that stuff. Always has." There it was. That same old line. Your mom handles it. Your mom deals with it. Your mom decides. It was the perfect deflection. Clean, guiltless, gutless. "You're a grown man," I replied, quieter than I intended. "You let her turn me into an ATM." He didn't deny it. Didn't get defensive either. Just breathed out and said, "Yeah." I was quiet again. "You were good to us, he said. "Too good. I should have stepped in years ago. Should have said something when she got carried away." I sat forward slightly. "When she told people I paid off your second mortgage because I owed you for raising me?" He flinched audibly. "That wasn't fair." "Or when Adam said I only went into tech because I wasn't smart enough for med school like him." And she laughed. He didn't respond. I kept going. "Or when you both told me not to bring my ex to Christmas because it wasn't serious, only to find out she'd already been replaced with Adam's new girlfriend at dinner?" He sighed heavily. "She said you'd overreact." "Of course she did. I'm not calling to fight," he said finally. I guess I wanted to say thank you. And that I get it now." I didn't know what to do with that. It felt too late and too early at the same time. Like pouring water on a fire that had already turned to ash. "She wants to meet," he added. "Not to yell. She said she'll apologize." I raised an eyebrow to no one. Did she use that word? Apologize. Well, not exactly. But she said she's willing to have a grown-up conversation. That's something, right? It was something. Just not the thing I needed. "I'll think about it," I said, and I meant it. But I also knew I wasn't ready to sit across from her while she did mental gymnastics to justify years of passive cruelty. He exhaled, and for the first time in the call, his voice softened into something more familiar. "Ryan, I'm sorry I wasn't there more." There was a beat, a hesitation, and then I should have said something sooner. And just like that, the call ended. Not dramatically, not with yelling or ultimatums. Just a quiet click and the ghost of a father trying to climb out from behind his wife's shadow. The next few days were calm. Too calm. No texts. No Facebook subtweets. No cousin accidentally leaking updates. For the first time in years, the silence felt deliberate. Like the whole family had regrouped, circled the wagons, and now they were planning. And then came the envelope. Plain. No return address. Slipped under my door like a flyer from a pizza place. Inside? A folded sheet of printer paper. One sentence. "If you really think we've wronged you, let's sit down and make it right as a family." Below that, in unfamiliar handwriting. "Christmas dinner. 6 p.m. Please come." They'd set the table again. But this time, they weren't serving ham and forgiveness. They wanted something. And I had a choice to make. I stared at the letter for a long time. It was written in my mother's handwriting, though I could tell she tried to make it look more neutral, less sharp and scolding, more like some friendly invitation. But I knew her too well. I knew that every loop and curve of her letters carried years of judgment and passive aggression, whether she realized it or not. And beneath the surface of "let's make it right" was something much more familiar: control. I set the letter on the counter and walked into the kitchen. Poured myself a glass of water and sat down at the table I'd bought myself when I moved into this apartment, a solid oak one, with enough scratches to show it was mine and not just something passed down with strings attached. The silence felt heavy that evening, but it was a different kind of heavy. Not the tense, bracing for impact silence I used to feel when heading into one of Mom's talks. This one was mine. Chosen. I didn't go to Christmas dinner. I didn't even text back. Instead, I went to a Korean barbecue place downtown with a few coworkers who also had complicated families. We laughed too loudly, ordered too much meat, and toasted with cheap sake. When they asked where my family was, I just smiled and said, taking a break from tradition. No one pried. No one judged. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel the aching guilt of not showing up for people who never showed up for me. The next morning, my voicemail was full. Mom had left 5 messages, each more desperate than the last. Message 1 was calm. Hi honey, just wondering if you're on your way. We're all waiting. Message 2 had some edge. Everyone's here, Ryan. Don't ruin this. Message 3 dropped the facade entirely. Unbelievable. You really are going to abandon your family over one little joke. Message 4 was quieter. You should have been here. Your father tried to cover for you. It didn't go well. Message 5 was sobbing. I didn't reply. Not right away. I needed space. I needed to make sure I wasn't going to be pulled back in by habit or sympathy or that deep, childlike urge to fix everything just so the grown-ups would stop yelling. A few days passed. Then a week. Then I got a message from Adam. No opener. No small talk. Adam, she's planning to contest the car title transfer. Says you gifted it. Ah, there it was. I'd forgotten the car. Well, not forgotten. Just assumed she'd let it go. Years ago, I bought her a new sedan when the old minivan finally died in a parking lot outside Costco. I paid in full, but I left the title in her name to make insurance easier. She never thanked me, but she loved that car. Called it her freedom ride. When I drew my financial line in the sand, I'd started the process of reclaiming anything that was still legally mine, or should have been. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was about ending the story clean. About making sure there was no confusion in the future. No, but you owe us, because of some lingering gift she could weaponize later. My lawyer had warned me this might happen. She'll say it was a gift, and she's not technically wrong. But unless she can prove it was intended to be permanent, and unless it's been enough years to count as abandonment, you're within your rights to take it back. I texted Adam back. Me. Letter. I've already filed the notice of ownership claim. He replied an hour later. Adam, she says she's cutting you out of her will. I laughed. Out loud. In the middle of my apartment, alone, I laughed. As if there was ever going to be a will with anything in it. As if I hadn't been footing the bills while she stockpiled candles, throw pillows, and essential oils she never used. I didn't reply. Instead, I booked a weekend trip. Something small, just a cabin up north, a few hours away. I brought books. I left my phone on airplane mode. And I let the days unfold with no expectations, no deadlines, no sarcastic comments about how I always run away when things get tough. When I came back, something had changed. Dad had sent me a letter. A real one. Not an email. Not a voicemail. A letter. It was short. Ryan, I don't know how to fix what we broke. But I want you to know I see it now. I see all of it. You didn't leave us. We pushed you out. I'm sorry for the years I spent sitting beside her instead of standing up for you. I was scared of rocking the boat, but you were the one holding it together while the rest of us took turns drilling holes. If you never come back, I'll understand. But I'll be waiting. Dad. I read it 3 times. Then I folded it and put it in my drawer. I didn't call him. Not yet. Because forgiveness doesn't come on a schedule. And accountability isn't a one-time performance. It's a process. A decision repeated, over and over, even when no one is watching. Over the next few months, the silence became normal. Not painful, not dramatic, just clean. I started sleeping better. Eating better. I met someone. Her name's Leah. She's a photographer. We bonded over a shared hatred of passive-aggressive texts and a love of spicy food. When I told her about my family, she didn't flinch. Just nodded and said, "Sounds like you finally chose yourself." Yeah, I did. Spring came, and with it, a package in the mail. No name on the return address, but I knew who it was from before I opened it. Inside, the watch I'd given Adam. Still in the box. Still unworn. No note. No explanation. Just the unspoken message, "We don't want your version of love." I smiled and placed it on my shelf. A reminder that I wasn't the problem. They just never knew what love looked like when it wasn't wrapped in dollar signs. Now, I'm okay. I've built something that feels like home. Real friends. A real relationship. Real boundaries. And this time, nobody's rolling their eyes when I hand them a gift. Because the people around me, they don't need me to prove my worth with money. They already see it.